The Grand Hall of the Galactic Confederation headquarters buzzed with excitement. Tall windows showed the stars and the many ships moving outside. Today was a big day. After years of talks, Earth was finally joining the Confederation. Commander Jack Miller stood tall in his Blue Earth Space Force uniform. He watched as Earth's President Rogers signed the treaty. Cameras flashed. Aliens of all shapes and sizes clapped with their various limbs. Some had blue skin, others had scales, and a few even floated in the air. A new era of peace and cooperation, President Rogers said with a smile. The alien delegates nodded in agreement. Jack should have felt happy. Earth was now part of the largest group of advanced species in the known galaxy. But something about the treaty bothered him. He had read it front to back many times. Section 27, Article 12 was clear. Earth must not build, design, or maintain warships of any kind. Earth's defense will be provided by Confederation forces. After the ceremony, Jack walked to the observation deck. The massive Confederation warships floated in space. Their smooth hulls gleamed in the light of the nearby sun. Each one could destroy a small moon. And humans weren't allowed to build anything like them. Impressive, aren't they? A deep voice said behind him. Jack turned to see Admiral Tulrax, the head of Confederation defense in this sector. Tulrax had gray skin with small ridges on his face. His 4 eyes blinked at different times. Yes, Admiral. Very impressive, Jack said. I just wonder why Earth can't build ships to help defend human colonies. Tulrax's mouth formed what might have been a smile. The treaty is for everyone's good, Commander. New species often misunderstand galactic politics. It's safer this way. Safer for whom? Jack thought, but didn't say. Tell me, Admiral, Jack said instead. How quickly can Confederation ships reach our outer colonies if there's trouble? Some are very far from your bases. We have the fastest ships in the galaxy, Tulrax said. You need not worry. But Jack did worry. He had spent 20 years in Earth's space forces. He knew that in space, even minutes could mean the difference between life and death. 3 days later, Jack sat in his new office at the Earth Embassy. His job was to be the link between Earth's military and the Confederation. A screen on his wall showed the positions of all Confederation ships near human space. Something was wrong. 3 Confederation defense cruisers had moved away from the human colony on Ta City. That colony had over 50,000 people. Now it had no protection at all. Jack sent a message to Admiral Tulrax. Request information on ship movements near Ta City. The reply came an hour later. Regular patrol adjustments. No cause for concern. Jack didn't believe it. He checked the other human colonies. 2 more had lost their Confederation protectors in the last week. His comm unit beeped. It was an encrypted call from Earth. Jack pressed the accept button, and the face of his old friend Dr. Lisa Collins appeared. Jack, how's life among the aliens? Lisa asked with a smile. Her curly hair was tied back, and she had dark circles under her eyes. She was one of Earth's best ship engineers. Not good, Lisa, Jack said. Something strange is happening with the Confederation ships. They're moving away from our colonies. Lisa's smile faded. That matches what I'm hearing from my contacts. The treaty is barely dry, and they're already leaving us exposed. Can we talk securely? Jack asked. Lisa nodded and typed something on her end. We're on a quantum lock channel now. What's on your mind? The treaty says we can't build warships, but our colonies need protection, Jack said. If the Confederation won't do it, then we need to find another way. Lisa finished his thought. But how? The Confederation inspects all our shipyards. Jack leaned forward. I need you to look at the exact words of the treaty. Every legal document has loopholes. Find ours. That's not really my area of expertise, Lisa said. I build ships. I don't read legal papers. You're the smartest person I know, Jack said. And right now, Earth needs your brain more than ever. Lisa sighed. Fine, I'll look at it. But no promises. "That's all I ask," Jack said. After they ended the call, Jack returned to the screen showing ship movements. Now he noticed something else. At the very edge of human space, near the colony on Wolf 359, strange signals were appearing. They weren't Confederation ships. They weren't human either. Jack zoomed in and ran the signals through the Confederation database. A warning flashed on his screen. Possible Vorax scout ships detected. Jack's blood went cold. The Vorax. During his welcome briefing, they had been mentioned as a non-Confederation species with territorial disputes, but he had heard whispers from other species officers. The Vorax didn't have disputes. They took what they wanted and destroyed anyone who stood in their way. And now they were at the edge of human space, with Confederation ships moving away. Jack sent an urgent message to Admiral Tolrax. Vorax ships detected near Wolf 359 colony. Request immediate Confederation response. He waited 1 hour, 2 hours. No response came. Jack's comm beeped again. It was Lisa. "Jack," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. "I found something in the treaty. Section 27, Article 12 forbids warships, but nowhere in the entire document does it define what a warship actually is." "What are you saying?" Jack asked. "I'm saying that technically, if we build ships that aren't primarily designed for war, but could be modified if needed, we might not be breaking the treaty." Jack felt a spark of hope. Industrial ships. Mining vessels. Exactly. Lisa nodded. With the right designs, the right modifications. Jack looked at the screen again. The Vorax signals were stronger now. "Lisa, I need you to start drawing up plans immediately. I think we're about to have visitors, and I don't think the Confederation is going to help us welcome them." Lisa's face became serious. "I'll get my team together." "But Jack, if we're caught doing this—" "I know," Jack said, "but we don't have a choice. Earth is on its own now." As they ended the call, Jack stared at the Vorax signals. Humanity had just joined the galactic community, but it seemed they would have to fight to keep their place in it. 2 weeks after their discovery, Jack Miller sat in a small plane room deep inside the Jupiter shipyards. The walls were gray metal, and the only window showed the massive gas giant outside, its swirling storms of red and orange moving slowly. The table was covered with paper plans and small holographic displays. "Let me get this straight," Marcus Wilson said, rubbing his bald head. "We're going to build ships that aren't warships, but can turn into warships when we need them to." Marcus was Earth's top expert on defense systems. His dark skin contrasted with the bright white of his shirt. "That's exactly it," Lisa said. She pointed to a hologram showing a large ship. "This is officially a mining vessel. See these parts here? They're for cutting through asteroids. Or cutting through enemy ships," Jack added. Dr. Anna Patel, a small woman with quick hands, nodded as she looked at the plans. "And these engines are standard civilian models, but I can make them push 40% harder with a few changes. Changes that wouldn't show up on a basic inspection. The key is that nothing we build will be a warship when it leaves the dock," Lisa explained. "But with the right commands, the right switches flipped, it becomes something else entirely." Marcus finished with a smile. Jack looked at the small team he had gathered. Besides Lisa, Marcus, and Anna, there were 5 other engineers and designers in the room. All people he trusted, all people who understood what was at stake. "What we're doing," Jack said, "is not strictly against the treaty, but the Confederation won't see it that way if they find out too soon. So absolute secrecy is essential." Everyone nodded. They knew the risks. "How long until we have a working prototype?" Jack asked. Lisa looked at the others, then back at Jack. 3 months for the first one. Maybe 6 months before we have a small fleet ready." "We may not have 6 months," Jack said. He brought up his own hologram showing the movement of the Vorax ships. They were still at the edge of human space, but their numbers were growing. "Then we'll have to work faster," Anna said simply. Work began immediately. The Jupiter shipyards were busy places, with hundreds of ships being built or repaired at any time. The team's special project was just one more job among many, hidden in plain sight. They called their ships conversion ships, or sea ships for short. On paper, they were industrial vessels meant for mining operations in the asteroid belt, but every part of them was designed with a dual purpose. The mining lasers could be adjusted to military strength. The thick hull, supposedly for protection against asteroid impacts, could withstand enemy fire. The large cargo holds could be filled with missiles instead of ore. 1 month into the project, Jack received a message from Earth Central Command. A Confederation inspector was coming to Jupiter to check on human shipbuilding activities. "How much do they know?" Lisa asked when Jack told the team. "I don't think they know anything specific," Jack said. "It's probably a routine inspection. But we can't take chances." For 3 days, they worked to hide any evidence of their true intentions. Military-grade components were disguised as civilian parts. Weapon mounts were covered with mining equipment. Secret compartments were sealed. The day of the inspection arrived. The Confederation representative was named Creel, a tall alien with long arms and green skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. His eyes were large and black, missing nothing. "Commander Miller," Creel said, his translator converting his clicking language to English, "I am here to ensure treaty compliance." "Of course," Jack said with a smile. "We're happy to show you our operations. We have nothing to hide." Creel's eyes narrowed slightly. "All species say that, Commander. Yet it is remarkable how often they are mistaken." For hours, Creel inspected the shipyards. He examined the sea ship prototype carefully, scanning every part with his devices. Jack's heart raced each time the inspector paused or looked more closely at something. Finally, they'd reached the end of the tour. Creel looked at his datapad. "Your mining vessels have unusually robust power systems," he noted. "Asteroid mining requires a lot of energy," Lisa explained, "especially in the outer belt where the rocks are larger. And these shield generators, they are quite advanced for civilian ships." "Safety is our top priority," Marcus added. "Space is dangerous. Micrometeorites, radiation. We take no chances with our crews." Creel was silent for a long moment, his black eyes moving from the humans to the ship and back again. Finally, he nodded. "I find no violations of the treaty," he said. "But I will be watching your activities closely, Commander. Very closely." After Creel left, the team gathered in their meeting room again. "That was too close," Anna said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "But we passed," Lisa pointed out. "And now we know what they're looking for. We can be more careful." Jack looked at the latest data on the Vorax. Their ships had moved closer to the Wolf 359 colony. "We need to speed things up," he said. "I have a feeling we're running out of time." Over the next 2 months, they completed work on the first sea ship. They named it Loophole, a small joke that only the team understood. Jack arranged for the ship to be crewed by former military personnel who now worked civilian jobs. People who could be trusted. People who knew how to fight if it came to that. On the day of the first test, Jack, Lisa, Marcus, and Anna watched from a small observation room as Loophole moved away from the shipyard. "All systems normal," came the voice of Captain Tom Reeves, another old friend of Jack's who now commanded the ship. "Beginning conversion test in 3, 2, 1. Now." On the screen, they watched as parts of the ship seemed to shift and change. Mining equipment rotated to reveal weapons underneath. Shield emitters glowed as they powered up to military strength. Engine outputs doubled as safety limiters were bypassed. In less than 2 minutes, the mining vessel had become something else, something the treaty forbade. "Conversion complete," Captain Reeves reported. "All systems operational. Weapons hot. Shields at maximum." Lisa smiled with pride. It worked. It actually worked. "Now let's hope we never need to use it," Jack said, but he didn't believe his own words. The Vorax were coming. It was only a matter of time. As if on cue, His communication device beeped with an urgent message from Earth. Jack read it and looked up at the others, his face grim. "The Vorax have attacked the mining outpost at Wolf 359, he said, "and the Confederation ships that were supposed to protect it are nowhere to be found." Alarms blared throughout Earth Central Command. Red lights flashed on the large screens showing the Wolf 359 system. The mining outpost there was home to over 5,000 people, mostly miners and their families. "Play the distress call again," ordered General Diane Roberts, the head of Earth's remaining defensive forces. A scratchy voice filled the command center. "This is Wolf 359 outpost. We are under attack by unknown vessels. Repeat, we are under attack. Confederation defense ships are not responding to our calls. We need immediate assistance." The message ended with sounds of explosions and screams. Jack stood before the general's desk, his face set in determination. "General, we have a ship that can help them." "One ship?" General Roberts raised an eyebrow. "Against what looks like a small Vorax fleet." "It's a special ship," Jack said carefully, "and it's already near Wolf 359, doing mining operations." The general's eyes narrowed. "What kind of special ship, Commander? We both know the treaty forbids warships." Jack took a deep breath. "It's not exactly a warship, ma'am. It's a mining vessel that can be converted." For a long moment, the general said nothing. Then she leaned forward. "Tell me everything." 10 minutes later, after Jack had explained the Sea Ship program, General Roberts stood up and looked at the screens showing the attack. "If the Confederation finds out about this, it could mean serious trouble for Earth," she said. "If we do nothing, those 5,000 people die," Jack replied. "And the Vorax won't stop there." The general nodded slowly. "Make the call, Commander. But understand this. If it goes wrong, I will deny all knowledge of your operation." "Understood, Mom." Jack rushed to the communication room and sent an encrypted message to the loophole. "Wolf 359 under attack. Conversion authorized. Save our people." Aboard the loophole, Captain Tom Reeves read the message and immediately called his crew to battle stations. "Begin conversion sequence," he ordered. "Full military power. And get us to Wolf 359 at maximum speed." The ship hummed and clicked as hidden systems came online. Panels slid open to reveal weapon ports. The engines roared as their limiters were removed. "Conversion complete," reported the first officer. "ETA to Wolf 359. 20 minutes. "Too long," Tom muttered. "Anna, are you there?" He activated a direct channel to Jupiter, where Anna Patel was monitoring the ship's systems. "I'm here, Captain." Anna's voice came through. "What do you need?" "More speed." "Those people don't have 20 minutes. There was a pause. Then Anna said, "I can give you more, but it might damage the engines. They weren't designed for this kind of stress." "Do it," Tom ordered. "Lives are more important than engines." The ship lurched as Anna remotely adjusted the engine settings. The stars outside seemed to stretch as the loophole pushed beyond its designed limits. "New ETA, 8 minutes, the navigation officer announced. When they arrived at Wolf 359, the scene was chaotic. 3 Vorax ships, sleek and deadly with strange purple energy flowing across their hulls, were firing on the mining outpost. The station's simple shields were failing. 2 small transport ships were trying to escape, but were being targeted by the Vorax. "Target the Vorax ship attacking the transports," Tom ordered. "Fire when ready." The weapons officer looked nervous. None of them had ever been in a real space battle before. "Firing, sir." The mining lasers, now running at military power, shot out and struck the Vorax ship. The enemy vessel seemed surprised, turning quickly to face this new threat. They didn't expect resistance, Tom realized. They thought this area was defenseless. The Vorax ship fired back, purple energy beams slicing through space toward the loophole. Evasive maneuvers, Tom shouted. The ship rolled to the side, but one beam grazed their hull. Shields holding at 82%, reported the defensive systems officer. But their weapons are stronger than we expected. Focus all power on the lead ship, Tom ordered, and send a message to those transports to get behind us. The battle raged for several minutes. The Lufol was outnumbered but had the element of surprise. The Vorax hadn't expected to face a ship with military capabilities. Their tactics were sloppy, unused to real resistance. The Lufol's modified mining equipment proved more effective than anyone had hoped. The drilling lasers, designed to cut through asteroid rock, sliced through the Vorax ship's hulls with surprising ease. "Sir, the first Vorax ship is breaking apart," called out the sensors officer. A cheer went up from the crew as one of the enemy vessels exploded, its purple energy core going critical. But the victory was short-lived. The remaining two Vorax ships coordinated their attacks, hammering the Lufol from different angles. "Shields at 40%, came the report. "We can't take much more of this." Tom gripped his command chair. "Route emergency power to the shields, and target their weapon systems specifically." The Lufol shuddered under another hit. A panel exploded on the bridge, sending sparks flying. But the human ship kept fighting, its converted weapons firing constantly at the Vorax vessels. One of the transport ships, seeing an opening, made a dash for open space. It got clear of the battle and jumped away to safety. "That's one group of civilians saved," Tom said. "Now let's make sure the rest survive too." With careful targeting, they managed to disable the weapons on one of the remaining Vorax ships. It retreated, moving away at high speed. The last Vorax ship, seeing its companions defeated or retreating, fired a final salvo at the mining station, then turned to flee. "Stop them," Tom ordered. "If they report back, more will come." The Lufol fired everything it had at the escaping ship. At the last moment, their makeshift missiles found their mark. The Vorax ship exploded in a burst of purple fire. The bridge crew cheered again, this time louder and longer. They had won. Against all odds, a converted mining ship had defeated 3 Vorax warships. As they moved to help the damaged mining station, Tom received a new message from Earth. His smile faded as he read it. "What is it, Captain?" asked his first officer. Tom looked up, his face grim. "A Confederation battlecruiser is on its way. Admiral Tolrax himself wants to know what happened here, and why there's a human ship with weapons in the area." The celebration on the bridge died instantly. They had saved the colony, but now they faced a different kind of fight, one they couldn't win with lasers and shields. "What do we do, sir?" asked the communications officer. Tom straightened his uniform. "We tell the truth. We did what the Confederation wouldn't do. We protected our people." He looked around at his crew, "And I don't regret it for a second." As the Confederation cruiser appeared on their sensors, massive and imposing, the crew of the Lufol prepared to face the consequences of their actions. But they did so with pride. They had proven that humans wouldn't stand idly by while their people were attacked, treaty or no treaty. The Confederation headquarters was much less welcoming this time. No crowds cheered, no cameras flashed. Instead, armed guards stood at every door as Jack walked into the tribunal chamber. The room was circular, with high ceilings and tall windows showing the stars outside. 7 alien representatives sat at a curved table on a raised platform. In the center was Admiral Tolrax, his 4 eyes blinking with what Jack now recognized as anger. "Commander Jack Miller of Earth," Tolrax announced, his voice echoing in the large room. "You stand accused of violating the Treaty of Limitations. How do you plead?" Jack stood straight in his uniform. Behind him sat Captain Tom Reeves, Lisa Collins, and the rest of the Sea-Ship team. They had all been brought to answer for their actions. "I plead that we followed the letter of the treaty, if not its spirit," Jack said clearly. Murmurs ran through the room. This was not the answer they expected. "Explain yourself," demanded a small blue-skinned representative from a species Jack didn't recognize. Jack nodded and pressed a button on the small device in his hand. A hologram appeared, showing the text of the treaty. Section 27, Article 12 states that Earth must not build, design, or maintain warships of any kind. But nowhere in the treaty is the term warship defined. Jack looked at each of the 7 judges. The Lufol was designed and built as a mining vessel. Its primary function was mining. A mining vessel does not destroy 3 Vorax ships in combat, Tolrax said coldly. A mining vessel with certain, adaptable features can, Jack replied. We did not build a warship. We built a ship that could defend itself and others if needed. Semantics. Tolrax slammed his hand on the table. This is a clear violation. May I speak? Lisa stood up from her seat behind Jack. The blue alien nodded. You are Dr. Lisa Collins, designer of this vessel. I am, Lisa said. And I would like to ask the tribunal a question. Where were your ships when the Vorax attacked Wolf 359? Silence fell over the room. Tolrax's eyes narrowed. Our patrol routes are not the subject of this hearing, he said. They should be, Jack said, stepping forward again. He activated another hologram, showing the movements of Confederation ships away from human colonies in the weeks before the attack. Your ships were systematically withdrawn from human space. Why? Fleet movements are classified. Tolrax began. Were you testing us? Jack interrupted, seeing how we would respond when attacked. Or did you simply not care if human colonies were destroyed? One of the other judges, a reptilian alien with golden scales, leaned forward. These are serious accusations, Commander Miller. I have evidence, Jack said. He sent more data to the display system. Communications between Confederation vessels ordering them to delay response to the Wolf 359 distress calls. The reptilian judge examined the data, then looked at Tolrax with what might have been suspicion. The treaty promised Confederation protection, Jack continued. In exchange, we gave up our right to build warships. But when we needed that protection, it wasn't there. 5,000 people would have died if we hadn't acted. The Lufol saved not just the mining station, but 2 transport ships full of civilians. Captain Tom added, children, families, all would be gone if we had followed the spirit of your treaty. The 7 judges talked among themselves in low voices. Jack could see that some of them were troubled by the evidence he had presented. After several minutes, the blue alien spoke again. We will continue this hearing tomorrow. For now, the humans will remain under guard in their embassy. As they left the chamber, a small alien with pink skin and large eyes approached Jack. He recognized her as Representative Kell from one of the smaller Confederation species. Commander Miller, she whispered, many of us are impressed by what you did and concerned about what it reveals about the Confederation's priorities. What do you mean? Jack asked quietly. My people have also noticed the fleet movements. Our colonies, too, have been left unprotected at times. She glanced around nervously. We are not the only ones. Several smaller species have been discussing this problem. Before she could say more, a guard approached, and she quickly moved away. Back at the Earth Embassy, Jack and his team gathered to discuss their situation. They're going to make an example of us, Tom said grimly. They can't let this stand. If other species see us getting away with this, we didn't do anything wrong, Lisa insisted. We found a legal way to protect ourselves when they wouldn't do it. Legal or not, Tolrax wants our heads, Jack said. But I think we got allies we didn't expect. He told them about his conversation with Representative Kell. Before they could discuss it further, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red in the corridors. A voice came over the communication system. Attention all personnel. Vorax fleet detected approaching Confederation space. Multiple targets, multiple vectors. This is not a drill. Jack rushed to the communication terminal and called the tribunal chamber. The reptilian judge answered. Judge Slack, what's happening? Jack asked. The Vorax are launching a major offensive, Slack said, his voice tense. They're attacking multiple Confederation worlds simultaneously. We're mobilizing all available ships. But what? Jack pressed. But it may not be enough. Slack admitted. The ships we moved from your colonies. Many were moved to Central Confederation space. The outer worlds are vulnerable. Jack looked at his team. They all nodded, understanding what needed to be done. Judge Slack, Jack said, Earth has 5 more sea ships ready for action. And we can build more, quickly. Let us help. The treaty, Slack began. People are dying. Jack cut him off. Worry about the treaty later. There was a long pause, then Slack nodded. I will speak to the other judges, but I believe they will agree. We need every ship we can get. As the communication ended, Lisa turned to Jack. You realize what this means. If we help them now, they can't punish us later without looking like hypocrites. I'm not thinking about that, Jack said honestly. I'm thinking about stopping the Vorax before they destroy more innocent lives, human or alien. Tom smiled slightly. Always the hero, Jack. But she's right. This is our chance to show the Confederation what humans can really do. Jack nodded. Send the signal to Jupiter. Tell them to deploy all sea ships and get me General Roberts. We need to start building more, as many as possible. As his team rushed to carry out his orders, Jack looked out the window at the stars. The fight ahead would be difficult, but it would also be a chance to prove that humanity belonged among those stars, not as second-class citizens, but as equals. And maybe, just maybe, to change the Confederation itself for the better. Space above the planet Vega Prime burned with energy weapons and explosions. The Vorax fleet had pushed deep into Confederation territory, their purple-hulled ships moving in perfect formation. They had already destroyed 3 outer colonies and now threatened one of the Confederation's core worlds. Against them stood the remaining Confederation warships, their sleek designs normally impressive, but now seeming fragile against the Vorax onslaught. And among them, looking out of place but fighting just as hard, were 12 Earth ships. The sea ships, once disguised as mining vessels, now openly showed their converted forms. On the bridge of the flagship Loophole, Captain Tom Reeves watched the battle unfold on the main screen. The Vorax are pushing toward the southern hemisphere, reported his tactical officer. The Confederation cruisers can't hold them. Tom nodded and opened a channel to the other human ships. All sea ships, this is Captain Reeves. The enemy is breaking through in Sector 4. Let's show them what humans can do. The human ships moved as one, changing course to intercept the Vorax breakthrough. Unlike the rigid Confederation battle formations, the sea ships adapted quickly, shifting their tactics as the situation changed. Sir, called out the communications officer, Admiral Tolrax is ordering us to maintain position with the main fleet. Tom looked at Jack, who stood beside his command chair as the mission coordinator. Tell the Admiral we respectfully decline, Jack said. Our ships are designed for flexibility. We can do more good where we're going. As the sea ships engaged the Vorax breakthrough force, something unexpected happened. The human vessels began rapidly shifting their configurations. Weapons that had been facing forward rotated to cover their flanks. Shield energy redistributed to protect vulnerable areas. What are they doing? Asked a Confederation officer watching from their command ship. They're adapting, Judge Slack replied, his reptilian eyes wide with surprise. Their ships are changing to meet the threat as it evolves. The Vorax, faced with this unexpected flexibility, struggled to adjust their tactics. They had studied Confederation ships and knew their capabilities and limitations. But these human vessels followed no standard pattern. One moment, a sea ship would hang back, firing long-range weapons. The next it would charge forward, its mining drills repurposed as short-range cutting beams that sliced through Vorax shields. The sea ships are creating an opening, Lisa Collins reported from the command center on Earth, where she was monitoring the battle. But they can't hold it alone. On his ship, Jack saw the same thing. We need the Confederation ships to follow us through. Together, we can break their line. Jack opened a channel directly to Judge Slack's ship. Judge, we've created an opening in the Vorax formation. If your ships follow us in, we can split their fleet. There was a pause, then Admiral Tolrax's voice came over the channel instead. This is not the agreed battle plan, Commander Miller. Plans change when the battle changes. Admiral, Jack replied. This is our chance. Another voice joined the channel, Representative Kell. Admiral, the human strategy is working. We should support them. For a tense moment, there was silence. Then, very well, all ships follow the human vessel's lead. The combined fleet pushed forward, the sea ships leading the way. Their adaptability created openings that the more powerful but less flexible Confederation ships could exploit. Hours later, the battle was over. The Vorax fleet retreated, leaving behind destroyed ships and damaged planets. The cost had been high. 3 sea ships destroyed, many Confederation vessels lost. But Vega Prime had been saved, and the Vorax advance halted. 1 week later, Jack Miller once again stood before the Confederation Tribunal. But this time, the mood was different. Behind him stood not just his team but representatives from several Confederation species. Commander Miller, Judge Slack began, this tribunal has reviewed the actions of Earth in the recent conflict. We have also examined the evidence you presented regarding the Treaty of Limitations. Admiral Tolrax sat silently, his 4 eyes unblinking. Jack couldn't read his expression. It is the finding of this tribunal, Slack continued, that while the spirit of the treaty may have been violated, the letter was not. Furthermore, the actions of your sea ships saved countless lives and revealed. He glanced at Tolrax, certain questionable decisions within our own command structure. A murmur ran through the chamber. Therefore, we propose a new treaty, one that removes the restrictions on human ship design, but establishes mutual oversight for all species, large and small. Representative Kell stepped forward. Many of the smaller Confederation species support this proposal. We have all seen how the current system left some worlds vulnerable, while others were protected. Tolrax finally spoke. The old ways ensured peace for centuries. They ensured control, Jack said firmly. But peace requires cooperation, not control. The tribunal voted 6-1 in favor of the new treaty, with only Tolrax opposed. 3 months later, Jack stood in a shipyard orbiting Mars. Through the large window, he could see dozens of ships under construction. Some were new sea ships, but others were different. Collaborative designs, with human adaptability combined with alien technologies. Lisa joined him at the window. The first joint design team finished their work yesterday, she said. The Kell engineers were amazed by how quickly we could modify our designs. And we were amazed by their shield technology, Jack added. Together, we're building something better than either of us could alone. General Roberts entered the observation room. The Vorax are regrouping, she said without preamble. Intelligence suggests they'll try again, maybe within a year. We'll be ready, Jack said confidently. Not just humans, but all of us together. You've started something remarkable, Jack, Lisa said, looking out at the new ships. Not just new vessels, but a new way of working together. Outside the window, one of the new joint design ships fired its engines for the first time, moving slowly away from the dock. Its hull combined the sleek lines of Confederation design with the practical adaptability of human engineering. On its side was a new emblem, not just Earth's symbol, but a combined mark representing all the species that had worked on it. We weren't allowed to build warships, Jack said, watching the ship move gracefully into space. So we built something better. Ships that can change, adapt, and protect, just like humanity always has. As the new ship accelerated away for its first test flight, Jack thought about how far they had come. From being restricted by a treaty to helping reshape the Confederation itself. It wasn't the weapons that had made the difference, but human creativity and determination. That was something no treaty could ever take away.